Hi, this is Wayne Rivers at the Family Business Institute. I know you guys are tired of hearing me talk about things that go on in our peer group meetings, but I learned so much and it helps me relate things to you guys when we do these weekly blogs. So 2 weeks ago we talked about our Wall Street Journal blog that detailed some of the growing incidence of non-family members running family businesses. And it's happening more and more as we detailed. Please go back a couple blogs ago and you can click on the link and read the journal blog. So I'm at a peer group meeting a couple weeks ago, actually probably about a month ago now. And just as we detailed in the article, there are family businesses, family-owned businesses, that have non-family leadership as president of the company. I think there were 4 of the 6 companies there. And by the way, you know, if I was Occupy Wall Street kind of a guy, which I'm not, but if I were, I would say these are 1% companies. Now these are, you know, big family businesses, definitely in the top 1%. So these non-family presidents are now running the companies, and in some cases very capably. But one of the things that came out was for 2 of the 6 companies in that meeting, ownership, that is family ownership, does not share financial information with the very executives that they've charged with operating that business effectively. My head almost exploded. That is so wrong-headed, I can't even, well actually I'm going to give you 6 reasons why it's so wrong-headed, but I couldn't even get my mind around it. It was driving me berserk. The idea that you would entrust a non-family human being, some really capable executive that you've either hired from the outside or you've grown organically in your organization, you would trust that person with the day-to-day operations of your company and then not share financial performance information. They were seeing job information, this job was, but overall company performance, they're not seeing any of that. And it just frustrated me. I'm not talking about open book management, by the way, where every employee sees financials, although I'm okay with that too. This is the top of the top, the president of the company not seeing financial information. It reminds me of a story I heard, you know, golly, this is like 15 or 20 years ago. We were dealing with a client, and it wasn't the 08 to 2012 recession. This was like, you know, 91 when we had a little blip of a recession. And the 3 family members who were the senior leaders in the business came to the son-in-law, who was now president of the company, and they said, man, things are tight. You need to cut expenses across the board 10%. And the guy looked at him and said, I'll be happy to. I've never seen financials. 10% of what? I don't even know where to begin. And the guy's like, well, just get it done. But without good information, how can you produce good results? It just doesn't make sense. So why is this so wrong-headed to not share financial information with your key executives? Okay, here are 6 reasons. The first thing is it's patriarchal. It's the old way of doing things. It's a 1950s or 60s mentality. Are you afraid somebody's going to know you're rich by sharing this information? Guess what? They already know you're rich. They already know you're on the hospital board and you drive an expensive car and you have a vacation home and you're not worried about grocery money. They already know you're rich. You know, it really comes down to saying, you know, we're not interested in changing anything. We're kind of pretty prone, pretty happy with the status quo. So, you know, this is the way we've always done it here. Words of death for a family business, and that's the way we're going to keep doing it. The second reason is it's frustrating and demotivating for the very executives that you've charged with operations. You risk a loss of talent. In fact, one of the companies in this peer group meeting is facing a huge talent drain right now, primarily because of the divorce, that's not the right word, the disconnect between family ownership and company leadership. There's no interaction between the two. They see owners drifting in and out of the building from time to time, but there's no connection between the wishes and the desires and the direction of ownership to the day-to-day operations. And young people today need more than money to motivate them. They need a sense of purpose and direction, and this company is facing a heck of a talent drain. So it's really demotivating to not share high-level information with intelligent and capable people. The third reason is it communicates a lack of trust. I don't trust you with this information. You may take it to the newspaper and get it published. What kind of foolish attitude is that? But I guess that's the way some people think still. If it's not a lack of trust, it certainly indicates a lack of interest in transparency. And transparency, as we know, is one of the things that your better employees really crave. They want a clear sense of direction where the company's going. They want to know clearly what their role and responsibility is. They want to know how they're going to be held accountable. And they also want a culture of transparency. And this is the opposite of a culture of transparency. Not sharing financials really cuts off some opportunity to do high-level collaboration. You don't become the president of a $200 or a $500 million company and not be pretty financially sophisticated. So yeah, okay, balance sheets and income statements and all that, but also there's a lot of drill down cash flow forecasting and getting down to a granular level associated with the operations of the business. You just cut off all that opportunity for forecasting and looking out into the future, troubleshooting, risk management, all those kinds of things when you don't share financials with these people. And it just puts a damper on team play. It says, okay, we have our team over here and you guys have your team over there, and we'll do our thing and you do yours, and we're just not going to get together very often. We're not going to discuss these things. One of the key reasons this is wrong-headed is that it cuts off all these key metrics. So if I'm the non-family president and I want to know how I'm going to be evaluated, well, is profitability in there? Well, how do I know how profitable the company is if I'm not seeing financials? What about all the KPIs that we might look at? Revenue per employee or some sort of efficiency ratios or even financial ratios that the bank might be looking at. So I don't have access to any of those things if I don't know what the high-level financials of the company are. So, it's impossible in some ways to set goals because revenue is always a goal for a company, and gross profit is a goal, and net profit is a goal. But if I'm not seeing the financials, none of those goals are really in my power to deliver. So that's a lose-lose. People think Zig Ziglar's kind of a nut. Some people do. I love the guy. I think he's changed a lot of lives. And I remember hearing Zig years ago tell a story about some famous Olympic archer. And Zig was going to bring him out on the stage and demonstrate his capability as an archer. He could split an arrow in two like Robin Hood and all this other stuff. And Zig said, but first, we're going to blindfold him. And then we're going to spin him around 10 or 15 times and get him kind of dizzy. And then we're going to put the target in a way that he can't possibly see it even through the blindfold. And, I'm listening to him going, Zig, this is crazy stuff. But he makes a terrific point. How can you hit a target that you can't even see? And not sharing financials with key non-family executives in the company causes them to try to hit a target that they can't even see. And logic tells you that is not going to happen. All right, so let me get off my soapbox. I'm interested in your comments. Click on the link and let us know what you're thinking about this and other blogs that we've done. And this is Wayne Rivers from the Family Business Institute.